In this video, we're going to talk about the origin story of the Batman. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for future updates. Batman is an American comic strip superhero created by writer Bill Finger and artist Bob Kane for DC Comics. Batman first appeared in Detective Comics No. 27 in May 1939, and he has since appeared in numerous comic books, comic strips, and graphic novels, as well as on television in a camp live-action series and a critically acclaimed animated program, in electronic games, and in brooding, atmospheric films. Here, the list of the elements that lead the origin story of the Batman. Let's start. Number 1. Creation. In early 1939, the success of Superman in Action Comics prompted editors at National Comics Publications, the future DC Comics, to request more superheroes for its titles. In response, Bob Kane created the Batman. Collaborator Bill Finger recalled that Kane had an idea for a character called Batman, and he'd like me to see the drawings. I went over to Kane's, and he had drawn a character who looked very much like Superman with kind of reddish tights, I believe, with boots, no gloves, no gauntlets, with a small domino mask, swinging on a robe. He had two stiff wings that were sticking out, looking like bat wings, and under it was a big sign, Batman. The Batwing-like cape was suggested by Bob Kane, inspired as a child by Leonardo da Vinci's sketch of an ornithopter flying device. Finger suggested giving the character a cowl instead of a simple domino mask, a cape instead of wings, and gloves. He also recommended removing the red sections from the original costume. Finger said he devised the name Bruce Wayne for the character's secret identity. Bruce Wayne's first name came from Robert the Bruce, the Scottish patriot. Wayne, being a playboy, was a man of the gentry. I searched for a name that would suggest colonialism. I tried Adams, Hancock, then I thought of Mad Anthony Wayne. He later said his suggestions were influenced by Lee Fawkes' popular The Phantom, a syndicated newspaper comic strip character with which Kane was also familiar. Kane and Finger drew upon contemporary 1930s popular culture for inspiration regarding much of the Batman's look, personality, methods, and weaponry. Details find predecessors in pulp fiction, comic strips, newspaper headlines, and autobiographical details referring to Kane himself. As an aristocratic hero with a double identity, Batman had predecessors in the Scarlet Pimpernel created by Baroness Emma Scorchi, 1903, and Zorro created by Johnston McCulley, 1919. Like them, Batman performed his heroic deeds in secret, averted suspicion by playing aloof in public, and marked his work with a signature symbol. Kane noted the influence of the films The Mark of Zorro 1920 and The Bat Whispers 1930 in the creation of the character's iconography. Finger, drawing inspiration from pulp heroes like Doc Savage, The Shadow, Dick Tracy, and Sherlock Holmes, made the character a master sleuth. Number 2. Golden Age. Kane signed away ownership in the character in exchange for, among other compensation, a mandatory byline on all Batman comics. This byline did not originally say Batman created by Bob Kane. His name was simply written on the title page of each story. The name disappeared from the comic book in the mid-1960s, replaced by credits for each story's actual writer and artist. In the late 1970s, when Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster began receiving a created by credit on the Superman titles, along with William Moulton Marston being given the byline for creating Wonder Woman, Batman stories began saying created by Bob Kane in addition to the other credits. Finger did not receive the same recognition. While he had received credit for other DC work since the 1940s, he began, in the 1960s, to receive limited acknowledgement for his Batman writing. In the letters page of Batman 169 February 1965, for example, editor Julius Schwartz names him as the creator of the Riddler, one of Batman's recurring villains. However, Finger's contract left him only with his writing page rate and no byline. Kane wrote, Bill was disheartened by the lack of major accomplishments in his career. He felt that he had not used his creative potential to its fullest and that success had passed him by. At the time of Finger's death in 1974, DC had not officially credited Finger as Batman's co-creator. Jerry Robinson, who also worked with Finger and Kane on the strip at this time, has criticized Kane for failing to share the credit. Although Kane initially rebutted Finger's claims of having created the character, writing in a 1965 open letter to fans that it seemed to me that Bill Finger has given out the impression that he and not myself created the Batman, as well as Robin, and all the other leading villains and characters. This statement is fraudulent and entirely untrue. Kane himself also commented on Finger's lack of credit. The trouble with being a ghostwriter or artist is that you must remain rather anonymous without credit. However, if one wants the credit, then one has to cease being a ghost or follower and become a leader or innovator. In September 2015, DC Entertainment revealed that Finger would be receiving credit for his role in Batman's creation on the 2016 superhero film Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, and the second season of Gotham after a deal was worked out between the Finger family and DC. Finger received credit as a creator of Batman for the first time in a comic in October 2015 with Batman and Robin Eternal #3 and Batman Arkham Knight Genesis #3. The updated acknowledgement for the character appeared as Batman created by Bob Kane with Bill Finger. 3. Early years. The first Batman story, The Case of the Chemical Syndicate, was published in Detective Comics #27 cover dated May 1939. Finger said, Batman was originally written in the style of the pulps, and this influence was evident with Batman showing little remorse over killing or maiming criminals. Batman proved a hit character, and he received his own solo title in 1940 while continuing to star in Detective Comics. By that time, Detective Comics was the top-selling and most influential publisher in the industry. Batman and the company's other major hero, Superman, were the cornerstones of the company's success. The two characters were featured side by side as the stars of World's Finest Comics, which was originally titled World's Best Comics when it debuted in fall 1940. Creators including Jerry Robinson and Dick Sprang also worked on the strips during this period. Over the course of the first few Batman strips, elements were added to the character, and the artistic depiction of Batman evolved. Kane noted that within 6 issues he drew the character's jawline more pronounced and lengthened the ears on the costume. About a year later he was almost the full figure, my mature Batman, Kane said. Batman's characteristic utility belt was introduced in Detective Comics #29 July 1939, followed by the boomerang-like Batarang and the first Bateemed vehicle, the Batplane, in #31 September 1939. The character's origin was revealed in 33 November 1939, unfolding in a 2-page story that establishes the brooding persona of Batman, a character driven by the death of his parents. Written by Finger, it depicts a young Bruce Wayne witnessing his parents' murder at the hands of a mugger. Days later, at their grave, the child vows that by the spirits of my parents, I will avenge their deaths by spending the rest of my life warring on all criminals. The early, pulp-inflected portrayal of Batman started to soften in Detective Comics #38 April 1940 with the introduction of Robin, Batman's junior counterpart. Robin was introduced, based on Finger's suggestion, because Batman needed a Watson with whom Batman could talk. Sales nearly doubled, despite Kane's preference for a solo Batman, and it sparked a proliferation of kid sidekicks. The first issue of the solo spin-off series Batman was notable not only for introducing 2 of his most persistent enemies, the Joker and Catwoman, but for a per-Robin inventory story, originally meant for Detective Comics 38, in which Batman shoots some monstrous giants to death. That story prompted editor Whitney Ellsworth to decree that the character could no longer kill or use a gun. By 1942, the writers and artists behind the Batman comics had established most of the basic elements of the Batman mythos. In the years following World War II, DC Comics adopted a post-war editorial direction that increasingly emphasized social commentary in favor of lighthearted juvenile fantasy. The impact of this editorial approach was evident in Batman comics of the post-war period. Removed from the bleak and menacing world of the strips of the early 1940s, Batman was instead portrayed as a respectable citizen and paternal figure that inhabited a bright and colorful environment. That's it for today. We hope you found our video interesting. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and share it with others. Also, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our new uploads. In the end, thanks for watching, and see you next time.